Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to episode 2 dose of The Sky is the Limit, the show that brings together a community of passionate people who want to create, challenge, and entertain people all over the world. Last week we had a guest of the name of Maxine Roediger. She started her own virtual theater company during this whole pandemic. She's a great person. She has done such great things. If you saw the last video, you know who I'm talking about. If you didn't, go watch it. Go watch it. Go. I just wanted to remind you guys, all sitting there right now watching this video, that yes, you, can be a part of our next STL show as a creative. Just fill out the Google submissions form because I want to see more creatives out here and I want to interview you. I want to get to know you. Trust me, I honestly do. Alright guys, I'm going to go get a snack break. Hey, Josh, roll that intro.
You'll go far, go change the world. The sky is the limit, and you'll go far, I'm sure.
Welcome back, guys. Thanks for staying with us. Thanks for letting me go on that snack run. It was a lot of fun. Alright guys, our next guest. I am so stoked to be introducing him to you guys. He is so cool, guys. He's so creative. He has a book coming out. He has a podcast that he's been doing. He's a filmmaker. He's from Chicago, moved to Iowa, and is planning to move to Los Angeles very soon. Guys, he is so cool, so creative. I am so stoked to show you what he has to offer, and I'm so humbled that he agreed to do this. His name is Alexander Matthews. Joshy, baby, roll that tape!
This isn't a misunderstanding. You took Joy, and she's not here. Where is she? Where's Joy?
I can't be hungry and have friends at the same time.
Is it that hard to believe that I came up here to see my older brother?
Do I know where the church is? Yes. Yes, I do.
Rule number 1, James. Always remember home.
Hello. You want to come play outside with me?
Hey Alex, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, man. Thanks for asking. Dude, I love that video. Dude, that video put together, amazing. Okay, so you have a book coming out. A freaking book. Wow. I'm like appalled, like in a very good way. Like I'm like, let's go. And it's called Waking Up Summer, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Can you tell everyone like what it's about and where the inspiration from it was, and just kind of talk about that for a second?
For sure, yeah. So the book, Waking Up Summer, it's going to be a series. And the first one is about a guy named Alex. On his 17th birthday, he loses everything. So it's a pretty like hard emotional story at first. And so you follow him as he tries to survive this outbreak of what are called monsters, or basically zombies. So it's ironic that I'm releasing it right now in an outbreak. I had these crazy, weird, horrifying dreams when I was 12 and 13. And they were about zombies and stuff like that. And how it was weird about them was like I'd have the dream, right? I go from point A to point B, survive some zombies, get some supplies, all that good stuff. And then wake up, be like, dude, that was scary. Go back to bed in a few hours, right? And then the dream would pick back up from point B and I'd go to point C. And that would last for 2 weeks. Right. So it was in chronological order. This happened when I was 13 and it happened when I was 12. And so my parents were like, dude, that's scary. Why don't you just write these down in a journal? I was like, okay. Yeah. They're like, that'll maybe help out with like what's going on in your noggin. And so I returned to those journals when I was about 15. It was the summer of 8th grade. And I was like, whoa, these are messed up. Let's write a book with these.
Yeah, there we
So
go.
I was like, yeah, I have this content. Let's just try it out. Let's just see where it goes. I mean, it doesn't have to go anywhere, but this my own computer. But let's just see where it goes. And so I took all those dreams, all those stories, and put them into an outline. And
Wow.
there we go. That it kind of just it turned into Waking Up.
How close were they to the book? Like, was the main idea or the main concept like the book, or yeah, how close were they?
Yeah, so when you get the book, I mean, on the front cover of the book, you'll see this like gross red sore with these like vine-like things connecting into it, and that is what the monsters are made up of. You have to kill them by like stabbing or shooting the sore or whatever right in the middle. And so these monsters are just gross, all these sharp teeth and like coral like structures.
Okay.
Very creepy, but they were in the dream, and I was like, whoa. I gotta write those down. So I wrote those down in very good like details so that I could remember that. But like the big scenes you'll read about later in the book are all kind of like dreams that stood out to me, and kind of the people involved in those dreams sometimes were characters that come up in the book. So yeah, it's pretty wild to read over like some of the parts of the book and be like, oh right, and kind of relive those nightmares that I had. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. So yeah.
That's a great story for that book. And talking about details, I feel like that's something you're so good at. Like reading those first two chapters. Like honestly, I was like you painted a picture for me. I have something I wanted to read, a paragraph I wanted to read because it was so. I just want to give our viewers a little taste of a little Alex here. So I heard I heard the rushing water get nearer and nearer. The sound unmistakably a small waterfall that swam into a running river in the distance. The grass was up to my waist by now as I walked through the wet ground, the mud sucking at my shoes like a squid pulling me into dark depths. Thinking about it that way didn't help my nerves. Wow. Like that, I literally can see a drawing, I can see a painting from that one little paragraph. And I'm not joking, folks. That's literally how a lot of these, at least first two chapters go, and I'm guessing the whole book's going to go. Is it really paints a picture, and I love that. You've written all these different things. What has been the biggest challenge you have faced while writing a script, or writing this book? Just something you've had to overcome.
Kind of the biggest thing, to be honest, was the art of letting other people read your stuff. It was very kind of daunting at first when I realized like, hey, if we're going to continue with this book thing, probably going to need people to read it to be like, yeah, this is good, or yeah, this sucks. So like, that's kind of scary because you don't know what kind of judgment you're going to get. I mean, you show your mom, she's like, oh my goodness, this is so great. Yeah, that was pretty scary. I had to I took some of the first couple chapters and put them on this like rinky-dinky app at the time called Wattpad, and got like 3 likes on it, and I was like, boom, sweet, let's keep going. And so you kind of have to just prepare yourself for criticism and judgment and approval. So so that was definitely kind of the hardest part, I would say, was just putting it out there and knowing that there's gonna be people won't like it, and that's okay, because then there could be people that do. So, but you'll never know. You'll never know if you don't try. If you're feeling that right now, you're like, I've created this thing, I just don't know what to do with it, or I'm too scared. Totally get that. I was in that boat. I still am. I'm still like freaking out. I'm like, dude, the book's coming out that I've been working on since technically like 12. So it's like awesome. that fear will never quite leave, but you will grow as a writer if you are willing to let others read your writing. And so if you're going through that right now, know that you'll be okay. When I showed people for the first time my book, I did not die. I was not struck by lightning or something. You can get through it. But yeah, it's so important to have people, check out what you're doing, because most of the time people won't be like hate you for making something. And if they want to support you, and if they do criticize it, 99% of the time it's because they want you to succeed. And if you have that mindset of, when I share this, everyone's going to hate it, that'll create this cloudy, gross thing. But if you're like, hey, I'm going to share this with people and I'm going to let people criticize it so I can make it even better,
Yeah,
I mean, that's just it's all about mindset, and so it's super important to
for
just
sure.
be positive about it.
What's the difference between acting on your own pieces as opposed to acting for different writers? And what do you enjoy about the both? And kind of what are the differences?
So I did a lot of high school speech, and my speech teacher let me write my own stuff. So I got to craft all these characters, and they're all crazy and weird, and it was fun. It
Yeah.
was so much fun. And those scripts I put together, I could like mold, like clay. And so that was what was nice about writing my own stuff, was if I didn't like a thing, I could just throw it away, and the only thing that would like hurt was my feelings. It didn't hurt anybody else's feelings. But with somebody else, they've perfected this thing. They love it. And so when you get somebody else's piece, you take care of it. It's like a little chicken egg, little chicken. And so
I like that.
right,
Perfect.
little chicken. Little chicken. And so like they crafted this thing so that you could perform it to more than just the best of your ability. So it's that you love it just the amount that they do, or even more. I mean, it's important as an artist to see something and say, how can I really show what the author meant when they created this thing? And so both ways are super fun. I will always love writing my own things, but then there's always such a special thing that comes with performing somebody else's piece. And I think everybody feels that when they perform as a character, or read poetry, or read the story and act it out somehow.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta love it, and you gotta appreciate what they did. So yeah.
Oh, I mean, I love the dynamics between a writer and an actor, or a writer and a performer, because I feel like as a writer, you have an envision, you have a very like strict vision. You're like, this is how I see it. And like when you see it on opening night, say on Broadway or something, you're looking at it and you're like, wow, that's not exactly how I envisioned it, because maybe an actor makes a different choice, or a director makes a different choice, still like being true to the character, but just making a choice that you would have never expected.
Mhm.
I feel like that's so beautiful, because that's how you get like something, you make a character that you thought was so almost like small and make it huge, where you're like, wow, that character is so much more than even I tried to make it, which I love. I love that dynamic. But let's get into some personal questions. We've talked about your creative life, we talked about the artistic life, but now I want to know a little bit more about Alex. I want to know the most embarrassing story you have. I want to know, what's the most embarrassing thing that Alex has done in his life?
All right. Well, okay. The first thing that comes to mind is, some people know about this story.
Okay.
Let's see. It was a while ago. I was young. And when I was young, I loved otters. I loved otters a lot. And so when I was a kid, I was like, that's what I want to be when I grow up. An otter, right? And so, as you do.
Yeah.
And so we were in South Dakota, and we were at this like pool resort thing that they had. And there was a lazy river, and I was like, let's go. Hopped on in, and they added this thing where it was just this swirl of bubbles, right? Pool things.
Oh.
And I was pretending to be an otter, as one does, and I was,
of course,
smiling because I was so happy I was an otter, and I was way too close to the ground. I couldn't see it because of the bubbles.
Oh no!
And I chipped my tooth right here.
Oh
yeah.
No.
And so I came up out of the water like, oh, ow! That's not how otters are supposed to feel. Like, what is this? And so I walked over to my dad. I was like, hey, Dad, is there something wrong with my tooth? And his eyes were like the size of dinner plates. And we both realized that school pictures were in a week. And so what do we call Mom? Mom's a freak. But luckily we got a cap on the tooth a day before school pictures.
Wow. Talk about a buzzer beater, right?
Right, exactly.
Wow.
So I've not been an otter since. I just want everybody to know.
What is a moment in your life that has changed you, and just a life-changing moment that has changed you for better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, besides being an otter and losing a tooth. But let's see.
Of course. I don't know how it gets better than that.
I would say, to be completely honest, moving to Los Angeles was a huge thing for me. Because
Yeah.
it was a big deal. I mean, I moved to a place where you're graded on whether or not you can cry in front of strangers, and like we're
Of
living in
course.
the real life GTA Grand Theft Auto. So
Oh my God.
it was a huge change from Iowa. And yeah, it was exciting. It was adventurous, but it was also that fact of like old friends and family are a bajillion miles away, and so
Yeah.
it was a big step for me, but it was awesome. And I would say the people that supported me through it, getting there, and all the new friends that I made while being there, that was a huge gift. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I would say moving to LA was a pretty big deal for me.
Hey, that's great. I love that. I mean, LA, you can't really get wrong. What's one piece of advice you have for creators around the world right now?
So not to keep like bringing it back to my book. I hope that's okay.
No, keep bringing it back to we
okay.
love the book. We love it. Yeah.
Good. There is a quote from the book, "Live like a tree on a mountaintop." And kind of what that meant to me as I was writing it was, in the mountains, there are trees that will grow in the rocks at the very top.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go up there, you're like, what are you doing up here, little dude? Because the forest is all the way down there. And it's incredibly hard for this tree to grow in the rocks. And it's kind of insane to look at. And if this tree had a brain, it'd be thinking like, this sucks. All my friends are down there and here in the rocks. And so it's like, that's one way to look at it for sure. But that tree on the mountaintop can see the sunrise better than any of the trees down in the forest. And so it's really all about perspective, I would say. That can still apply to us, I think, right now, especially right now, because we could look at it as like, this sucks. Like, I don't know what to do with my life. I'm in a creative dump truck because, I'm not surrounded by all my friends and stuff like that. But would work even better is to look at, okay, there's a sunrise. This is what we could do instead. This is the goal moving forward. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Hey, that's a great answer. It makes a whole lot of sense, and I completely understand that. This has been a great interview, Alex. But before we go, is there anything you want to advertise? Like, when's your book coming out? Where can we see more of you?
Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you so much for letting me come advertise all my stuff. It's been a real pleasure to just be able to talk about this, and a real honor. So,
my pleasure.
One way you can support the book is by going to www.wakingupnovel.com, where you can get the book for yourself. That would be cool. Thank you for supporting me. My Instagram is alexander.matthews.
There we go.
A link in my bio that will pretty much lead you to everything, like the YouTube channel with my 2 subscribers. Shout out to you guys. Probably mom and dad. It's okay.
It's still great. It's still great.
Love you guys.
Love and support.
And yeah, you can go through my book's website through that link as well. So yeah, I appreciate any support. And I'm always excited to work with new people. So yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Alex. This has been a great interview. You're so interesting, and it's just been a lot of fun. And thanks for doing this, STL. And guess what, guys? That is the end of the second episode. Thank you for tuning in. Alex, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, let's go. See you, man.
Bye.
Hey, guys. Do you want to be a part of this Sky's Limit? I know you do. I know you do. I know you do. So fill out the Google submissions and show us something creative, because I want to interview you. Come on, you know I do. And also subscribe. I need it, baby. I need you, baby. Let's create a community. Let's have some fun. I want some baby back ribs. Sorry, that was just like me being me. Bye.